experience. Like, I did some independent films with Master P. A lot of those movies did really well.
I'm ambitious, I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.
We ain't beefing, I don't want no smoke. It ain't no secret, they know all of us are dope. And our people need us, we can't let them fight this battle alone. We done lost some folks and we can't lose no more. So I'ma be
breaking bread, making plans, building with my brothers. Breaking bread, making plans, building with my brothers. Breaking bread, making plans, building with my brothers. Breaking bread, making plans, breaking bread, making plans.
You've been lied to. You've been told that the enemy stands beside you. Your neighbor is your rival. That's what they use to divide you. But I ain't beefing with nobody that got the same problems I do. Don't always work, but I try to. I can be prideful when I often lose my cool, but I choose to commit to being better so we can eat together. Cause compared to black lives, our beef don't really matter. The day of us fighting each other is over. Wish they love my folks like they loving my culture. But we ain't even pressed, I ain't even gon' hold ya. We don't need your stand, we co-signing our own stuff. Don't need permission, you dealing with grown-ups. And our ancestors, they told us you owe us. So we here to collect, make the check out the black crowd and no one.
You ain't beefing, I don't want no smoke. It ain't no secret, they know all of us are dope. And our people need us, we can't let them fight this battle alone. We done lost some folks and we can't lose no more. So I'ma be
breaking bread, making plans, building with my brothers. Breaking bread, making plans, building with my brothers. Breaking bread, making plans, building with my brothers. Breaking bread, making plans, breaking bread, making plans.
Just got a call from my dog, he was limping. He said that he saw what he saw, but wish he didn't. I told him that we all was appalled at what we witnessed. He said that the law be going hard. I said they been dead, where you been? It's time to bring your best out, kings. Cause this ain't a protest, this a lifestyle change. Which means my child is your child. Protect and respect our queen.
Hey! Welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go live with Lamont King. I'm Lamont King, and we are now live as we do each and every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. to 7 Eastern Coastern Time, Eastern Standard Time. Shout out to my people on the West Coast checking in and worldwide. We made it. It's another day. It's the middle of the week. Could have gone other way, but it didn't. And you're here. So what's up to, I want to say shout out, what's up to everybody. First time checking in. If it's your first time, thumbs up in the chat. Hopefully you're catching us on Facebook or YouTube at this very moment. Shout out to you and yours. If you see something, say something. Share it if you can. That's what we like to convey here. Download the Humor Mill app to check us out streaming live inside the app. It's an amazing situation. And housekeeping, this is what we go through every day, broadcasting live straight from the Drunken Fruit, newly remodeled Drunken Fruit Studios. They spend a lot of coins on this, man. So it's a big deal.
I don't care if it is a closet. You still looking mad official.
There it is. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. All right, welcome to the program, man. This is one of the this is 100% viewer supported by viewers like you. So we appreciate anything that you could slide us, and I guarantee you it's gonna be a good damn time. Also, Patreon is jumping. We're getting more people every day. It's a kind of a one-stop shop for all of the content that comes out of Tiny Closet Studios. And you can see full shows and bonus clips. And that's if you miss the live show every day. You see the full show and bonus clips inside Patreon. Let me say that again, because some of y'all don't understand that. It's like, where's the show? I didn't see full shows and bonus clips inside the Patreon. Subscription based. Instead of me asking you for money every day, you pay monthly and you get all my content uncut, unedited, unfiltered, and inside the Patreon. So here's that. So yeah, that'll be the best move for your money, because this operation cannot run by itself. We're still looking for additional sponsors, wardrobe, if you want your stuff on display, product placement, I can have this in the background somewhere. We put your business on display, shout your business out. We're doing all that, man. We're not a network. We're not an outlet. We're just we're a platform with content that you need in your life. So feel free to support us. We're looking forward to it. Also, what's up to our executive producer, Mr. Clarkson, on the ones and twos. You saw me earlier. I was doing a little mixing right there. That's as close as you get for me as far as DJing. That's what you're gonna get. And so if you want to Skype in at any point in time today, go on Skype. Find Let's Go Live with an exclamation point. There are a couple other ones, but you want to go to that one and call us up, and I'll put you on the show, depending on what we're talking about at the time. And Peanut Gallery, what's good? Let's go with the Peanut Gallery. Good to see y'all. We're growing every day. And I see my man John Watson from All Fun and Games. Let's Go Live on Fridays. And yeah, speaking of Friday, before I get started, make sure you got your Sirius XM subscription live or active, because I'm going to be on there Friday with 3 very special guests. Some of you have heard of, some of you haven't, but it's going to be a good show. And I ain't going to tell you who, because the third one just confirmed today, but I'm not going to get into who yet. I may tell y'all tomorrow, but it'd be just a good deal for you to tune in and support me on that. And then right after the show, All Fun and Games with John Watson. All right. And this week's show is also being brought to you by one of our latest sponsors, Bargain Bay Buys on Instagram. Check them out. Great reselling operation going on over there. They got a wonderful site for all of you high-end enthusiasts, but like to find high-end goods on a bargain. All right. All right, let's get to it, man. Good to see y'all. Oh, I want to show this picture real quick. Can I show this? Overlay. Give me a second. I don't know why. I feel like I showed this before, but maybe not. And the wonders of technology. All right, it may not happen. So, because y'all. Oh, wait. I got it. Slow down. You ain't doing nothing. All you doing is watching press conferences. They ain't going nowhere. Same thing happened an hour ago that's happening right now. All right. Hold on. All right. Here you go. I just wanted to say what's up to my good friends down in Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina, who, where'd it go? Raleigh-Durham, who, they be watching the show on the TV. And I think that is so, that's awesome. They be watching the joint like it's Ellen or something without all the touching. You know what I mean? They be watching it like it's The Real or The View or something without all the neck rolling and bug eyeing. And I appreciate that. They be watching the show like it's Steve Harvey, but without the fake teeth. I mean, they be watching the joint, in the crib, man. And that's a special thing. You can't be mad at that. They, every day at 6 o'clock, they get around the TV, look like they're doing their nails or something. Got the stuff out and watching the show. So that's down in Raleigh-Durham. To the peoples. Big up to Dynasty 5 and the whole 9. All right, let's get to it, man. So I know you wonder, we're going to talk about Kamala Harris again. And because it's important, and there's been a lot of discussion. So yesterday, and thanks for everybody that tuned in to the replay of yesterday's show. I played we streamed a clip from yesterday's show right before, so at 5:00. So I think I'm gonna start doing that. So if you missed the day's show, then the next day at 5, you'll see some chunks but you got to tune in. So you got to be subscribed. You got to turn your notifications on so you can get that, get hype again, and then roll right into the live show at 6:00. So that's what we're going to start doing. So if you watched today, the conversation from yesterday I had with Professor Clarkson, our EP, you'll get a sense of what we were talking about yesterday. And I also feel like this, before I move on, this show is groundbreaking. It's trend setting. I don't know how often I can say that. I know some of y'all loyal fans that's been here, not even fans, loyal viewers of the show that's been here for the last 8 weeks that we've been doing it. You know that we're ahead of the curve. And I promise you, today, it is unreal. Today, I woke up, scanned the morning shows, scanned the talk shows on CNN and all that. Everybody was saying the same thing about the Kamala Harris announcement yesterday. You know what that was? They were saying everything that we said on the show yesterday. And I'm like, all right, either great minds think alike, or you bitches is listening to the show and stealing. I mean, they taking whole opinions. So that's why I had to make sure that I replayed that today. So when you saw it, it wouldn't be like, oh, you got that from so-and-so. No, they got that from us, from Let's Go Live. So anyway, today, the big conversation on social media was we talked about yesterday, the stereotype of the angry black woman and whether or not that will negatively hurt or help Senator Harris's run, her campaign, her impression, the way she presents. But today, the whole thing was like the internet came really out of nowhere. Black Twitter specifically, really attacking her blackness. And I'm like, again, this is what we choose to do. So I was getting into it all day long with, and I respect people's opinion, but the foundational black Americans, the ADOS, American descendants of slaves, and people who are pushing for reparations, and people who believe that, you know, she's conveniently black and her track record shows that she's not, you know, in favor of pushing the black agenda and all this. And because of that, she's ill-equipped and incapable and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yo, 80 days out? This is what you doing? I get it. You don't like her. You don't like her. You read an article. You read a headline. You know somebody got locked up in San Fran for weed. You don't like her. She said she's not going to do anything for the black agenda, but she gave the Native Americans some land back on some reservations. You don't like her. She voted for Trump's troop surge in the war in Syria, whatever. You don't like her. She decided not to overturn the 3 strikes rule in the state of California. You don't like her. Trump's military spending, she voted favorably for it. All right, you don't like her. We get it. Those are fine. You can have that. You have a right to be that way. But not, she ain't black enough. What? Are you kidding? That's what you're going to stand on? So now we have to sit here and confuse each other while we're trying to figure each other out on what's black again. Jamaican and British father, which by definition makes her biracial, which if you're going back to the 1-drop rule, which many of us use conveniently to claim somebody that's black, that means she's the father is black, Jamaican, and British. So he's black. So then he has Kamala. Essentially, she's black, according to the 1-drop rule. Then the mom is Indian. Okay. So we're already biracial if you subscribe to the racial timeline and ethnicities and all of that. She's a woman of color. Okay. She identifies, much like Rachel Dolezal, as black. Okay, let's take HBCU and black sorority off the table. I'm gonna kill you that argument because I know some of y'all waiting to use. I ain't even reading the comments. I know some of y'all waiting to use that. Let's take that off the table. You have to. You got to. Let's be adults about that. Let's take that off the table because I know some white AKAs that went to HBCUs. So let's take that off the table. That does not define her blackness. Stop saying it too. Tell your friends to stop saying it. So back to the mother and father. Automatically woman of color. By definition, black. She's born here, which makes her technically, the census is going around, and I think she filled it out, African American. Knock it off, y'all. That's not the fight that we want right here. Okay? Knock that off. Knock that part off. Because it's going to make us, the infighting, the conversation about ADOS, the conversation about who's foundational, who's not, the conversation about reparations, the conversation about black agenda, it's going to make us look stupid as fuck. Stop it. If you can't build your argument on policy and objectives, then just sit this one out. Just keep quiet and root for the home team. That's it. Just keep quiet and root for the home team. Because that's not going to do it. That's not going to do it. You can not like her. You can disagree with previous policy. You can think that Biden made the wrong choice, but he made the choice. He's sticking with it. And I believe I was watching Roland Martin's live stream, Roland Martin Unfiltered today, and he's standing by to jump on our show today. And he was saying how President has appointed about 240 something federal judges to lifetime positions, all leaning conservative. 240. So while you're thinking that 80 days holding your vote is going to change and give some type of no tangibles 2020 in 80 days, right? And we still haven't collectively agreed on a black agenda. Ice Cube got one, T.I. got one, ADOS101.com, they have one. Kanye is doing what he's doing, right? So 80 days. Trump in 4 years has appointed 240 judges in their 40s, some to their late 30s, early 40s, who will spend about 40 years on the bench. So when your cousin catch that bum ass drug charge or that first offense somewhere, and he lives in some state where the whole state is leaning conservative, and the courts are leaning conservative, and they don't believe your cousin, when he gets in front of the bench, deserves a second chance. He's 18 and they believe he's a seasoned adult. You know how the courts try us differently than they do our white counterparts, teens and adults. When all that is the way it has been for the next 40 years, you're going to be kicking yourself. Still talking about she ain't black. She wasn't black, so I ain't want her faking the funk anyway. So, you know, none of them is gonna get my tangible, so I ain't voting. Come on, man. Correct. By society's definition, she black. So, hey, man, that part of the discussion, leave that home, man. That junk is borderline. And I want to get somebody on. Me and Dre, we were Dre in the paint, going back and forth earlier. And I don't call it battle because it's just a discussion, but we were going back and forth earlier. So I may try to get him on, get his perspective. But I think that part of the conversation, we got 80 days. We need to knock that off. So that being said, let me move on away from that. So today he brought her out and she spoke. And I thought it was very interesting. And I want y'all to, on your own time, do your Googles and read the transcripts, because she finished off. And I heard this on the radio, so it wasn't live. She finished off with what I thought was some amazing language. She was very poignant. She sounded nervous a little bit. Her voice wavered. I don't know if that's just her regular voice, but she sounded nervous, but she was very poignant, very eloquent, concise, and every point was that she came up. She basically, you'll probably hear this on the news channels later on, because I'll be saying stuff. It was basically drew the line in the sand. and like, you know how back in the day, and it's like, what's up though? And your mama a bitch too. So what we gonna do? It was like that. She did that in such the eloquent way. So I'm gonna read a couple of them. So here was one that I saw that was very. This is from CNN that I thought was very poignant. It says Senator Harris called on the American people to organize and vote like never before because we need more than a victory on November 3rd. We need a mandate that proves that the past few years do not represent who we are or who we aspire to be. She said Joe likes to say that character is on the ballot. 100%. That is 100% facts. Truth. She laid the blame, and hopefully you can see this on your screen so you're following along. You can go get the article yourself. She laid blame for the state of the coronavirus pandemic in the U.S. at Trump's feet. She said his refusal to get testing up and running, his flip-flopping on social distancing and wearing masks, his delusional belief that he knows better than the experts, all of that is reason, and the reason that an American dies of COVID-19 every 80 seconds. So she was really hammering. She says Mamala will always be her most important job, which I thought was interesting. I don't really get into that type of stuff. So what they were doing is trying to humanize her, which is understandable because she needs that. Because if you just give her based on what you saw of her in the primaries and in her campaigning, you would think that she's, the ABW. So now mission, stage 2 of their mission, or stage 1 even, after the announcement rollout, is trying to humanize her. So Mamala, they're going to beat that in the ground. You're going to hear that to death. She said, I've had a lot of titles over my career, and certainly vice president will be great, but Mamala will always be the one that means the most, because I'm a mom. That's the whole. So remember, soccer mom. That's what that is. So remember Sarah Palin? Because you have to humanize. She has to be human first for you to like her. And then once you like her, then you ride with her. So Mamala. So that's going to be a thing. It's going to get corny, but I'm just telling you what it is. Yes, Mr. Clarkson says she's trying to appear as a black woman who is humble and concerned about the country, which came off today. If you get a chance to listen to it, it came off. So she talks about her mother and father, and they came from opposite sides of the world, and they arrived in America. Now she's giving you, that local feel. I'm you. She's giving. See, here's the key. They're not dumb. They pick somebody with checked every category. So I'm you, but I'm also immigrant. But I'm you. But I'm first generation American. I'm born here, born and raised here. But my parents, and I'm multicultural. My house is multicultural. It's diversity. So you getting everything. And I got a cousin that's gay. They giving you, that wasn't in there, but they making sure that she checks the box on everything so she can really pull from all of those groups, which I think is very smart and strategic. Get used to it. But they had good chemistry, real damn near kissy face. And which is amazing, seeing as though they was going at each other's necks majorly in the debates, but that's a part of the game. So, they're going to show this image of them embracing and all that of next couple of days to erase that from your memory. So you won't even remember that. All right. Let's see. It was one thing that they did not, I heard in her speech that I have not seen anybody repeat, CNN quote really, but he really, he spoke very highly of her when he spoke. Biden spoke first. And he said he wants her to be the last voice in the room before big decisions, which I think is very, very key. Biden says he asked Harris to be the last voice in the room before big decisions. I don't know if y'all know what that means or can appreciate that. Basically, don't tell nobody. Shh. Like she's going to be president. Like we don't know what Pence does. We don't know what Joe Biden did when he was with Barack. I feel like, though, Senator Kamala Harris, you're going to know what she does. You're going to know what she's doing, what her role is. I don't think it's going to be the traditional role, once they win, the traditional VP role where, state dinner, they handle the state dinners and the fluff and frilly stuff. I think he's going to defer a lot to her because of his age, his mental state. He knows it. His team knows it. I believe a lot of the fist pounding on the table, and I don't think that's right. Now we should go in another direction. I think he's going to leave that a lot to her. That's just my theory. So that was the big one. But the biggest one I couldn't find in this article was the last thing that she said. And I want y'all, if anybody, thumbs up if you heard this part. She said it was like a closing statement. She was wrapping up, and she was like, I want to make sure that everybody, has a place, and, like LGBTQ plus, and they, da da da. And I was like, all right, here we go. And then she said, and like our, diverse and our young people and our college students and the people protesting in the streets. And I was like, okay, she naming everybody. And then at the very end, she was like, and I want to make sure that every American, young and old, rich and poor, I'm paraphrasing, understands. And I'm in the car, I'm at the light, and I'm like, all right, I'm trying to, I turn the joint up. And I was like, is she going to do it? And she said, and every American understands that Black Lives Matter. And I was like, oh. I was like, okay. There was a time when people were afraid to say it. Remember, I think they asked, I think they was pressing out Roger Goodell to say it. And it was some Sunday morning news program. It was a couple months ago at the height of the protest. And he was like, well, can you say it? And he was like, I think that people should enjoy the rights and freedoms. And they was like, but can you say it? And he never could say it. So the issue has always been, ridiculously, the fact that people can't say it because they tie it to, they try to tie it and brand it as an organization as opposed to an ideology. So people up top really be afraid to say it. So, I mean, I don't know if it was around when Barack was president, but I gotta do my research before I say that, because I don't want y'all to trip me up. But I think it was major that she closed it out like that. She said that Black Lives Matter, and I'm like, that is so important because she drew the line in the sand. Now it could be bluff and fluff for election time, sure, but she said it in her introductory speech to kick off the campaign. That's a major deal. You cannot discount that. Look for that. Leilani says, I think we have to remember the folks it'll be their first time voting this year. Where'd it go? First time voting this year. The folks who were teens during the last elections, they'll vote Biden Harris, especially after the protests this summer. People are sick of Trump. That could be very true. And yes, she dropped the draw for, and the color is black. Yes. Or what y'all seen them new Uno decks where they be having them draw eights. That was that. When she hit that, I was like, okay, that's important. Now it could all be show. I'm not giving you excitement because my team is winning. I don't have a team. I ain't got a dog in this fight. Metaphorically, it's like you had a pep rally at a school you just transferred into. You're like, oh, this is good. Y'all got balloons and stuff, but I don't ask my opinion. I don't care what grade wins at the pep rally. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yes, I'm an American citizen, but this political process, I think it's a show. It's a dog and pony show. However, there are parts of it that directly affect us and that, we must be involved in. And this is one of them. So I'm saying, as a matter of taking important positions in public, that's a big deal. I think it was a big deal today for her to end it like that. She said some very strong things. And again, there's an article. You can go dig up her record and the things that she did terribly and the mistakes that she did wrong and within the system ain't set up for us to win. So if you make it that high in the system, you're obviously a player in the game. So she ain't no savior. I'm not saying she's the best thing since sliced bread. I'm saying for what she's about to do, it is very important. The same way I used to say Barack Obama. People are like, well, what do you do for black people? Nothing. except for show a whole generation of your kids. Russ Green, famous DC comedian, he said it best. He's like, when Trump got elected, there's a whole generation of 8-year-olds that have never seen a white president. And I thought that was hilarious. And I was like, but it's so true. If not for Barack, if not for that being the only thing that he accomplished. I remember it was a kid, he was 8. He was in summer camp. This was a few years ago. And his name was Barack Obama Johnson. That was his name. That's the impact. That's the effect. For me, that's the impact that it happened. So I look at her in this position that you got to respect the impact. You cannot disrespect the impact. Whether she didn't do this for San Francisco and she didn't get your cousin out of jail and she it's the impact of what's happening now is where I'm at with it. So there's that. Let's go live. Welcome to the program. Who's this?
Big Zoe, what's good, bro?
The Big Zoe Talks, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. Welcome to the program. Let me get your name up on the screen. Jack, what's the good word? How you feeling?
Man, this weather's crazy.
Yeah.
Lights flickering. A lot of people, I guess, I shouldn't complain because a lot of people don't have electricity.
Yeah.
God bless all of them.
Yeah.
Some people have been out for, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, so I was just wrapping up on. I was saying that Kamala really shut it down at at her little introduction joint, and I said only thing that's left is for her to jump on the WAP remix, and that's it. She silences all the critics. The WAVP remix.
You think she get the hairdo and all that?
The wet ass VP. That's the remix right there. She shut everybody down. Shut it up. But nah.
Did you ever tell me your take on that? We definitely want to pick up Kamala, but did you ever tell me that take Kamala, we gotta say the name right.
Yeah.
Especially now that she really, Kamala. Did you ever tell me your take on the Kardashian? What's the young one name? Kylie.
Oh, being in the video?
The backlash behind that.
Yeah.
What was your take on that?
I didn't have a take, to be honest.
Okay.
I didn't have a take. I didn't know. I didn't see the whole video, but I didn't see. I understand the point. She's a, product of her mother's mogul making.
Mm-hmm.
So she's, I wasn't going to say self-made because that's what they call her, but that's not self-made. But
right.
You gotta, she's an influencer. So if you want views, you can put people in your video that get views. And get you more views.
Yeah, but I think what a lot of our ladies, had gotten influenced about was how come Kylie gets to strut down the hallway and walk to the room while Cardi and Megan is stripping because they're strippers.
Because they're strippers.
So that's your take. So there's your take.
Oh, it is my take. Yeah. Because they allowed it. Because somebody said, here's my idea for the video. And they were like, oh, all right. They only can do
right.
They only can do what you allow. But that's the the industry does that to us anyway. It turns us into animals. I remember sidebar, this is a total sidebar. I remember going to a Clipper game. And if you know anything about where the Clippers play, Staples Center, they had these gigantic pictures on the top wall of the players, like these banners, 30-foot banners, and every player this year, that particular year, Jamal, man, I can't even Super Six man, I forgot his name, Jamal. They're all on different teams now. It was like six players, and then JJ Redick, right? And I remember, I was sitting in the box seat with a homie of mine who had it like that. So we was in the box seat. So the pictures on the wall is right to your left, and it was everybody was giving the rage, scream, yell, face, mouth open, face screwed up, like that was And then JJ Redick was like this. He just had his high school picture. And I was like, well, ain't he an athlete? Ain't he on the team? Don't he play high energy as well? Isn't he passionate about basketball? Well, then why all the black dudes' pictures got to be this raging animalistic picture, and he get the yearbook photo profile? That's how they condition us. That's how they condition us.
Exactly.
So this is
now. So I think it's more to blame from what I'm getting from you. It's more to blame from the director.
Oh, it's always on the director. But I'm saying,
okay,
the people in it you only get what you allow. Like if you in the room, and they like, and I've been on video sets where directors do that. I worked a Nelly video in like 2008. I was a production assistant, and he was like, all right, give me more aggression to the camera. And he's take 3, and it's more, and Nelly's like, you know, he rap. And they like take 27 more. I need more. Be angry at the camera. And I'm looking, and I'm behind the director because I was doing what's called wrangling. This is a whole side story.
Okay.
So he's on the chair with the wheels under it, and as he backs up, somebody has to hold. It's called wrangling. Has to hold the wires so nobody trips on him.
Oh, okay.
So I'm walking with him behind the camera.
You had to hold his cord, huh?
Yeah, I had to hold his cord. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. I had to hold his cord. That's funny. That was a good one. So anyway, we we moving backwards, and I'm like maybe 4 feet from Nelly, and he's into the camera, playing up to the camera, but he's wilding out. He giving you that whole monster, savage. I'm a savage, blah blah blah. And I was like, I felt uncomfortable after a while. I was like, is this what they do? But yes, it's what they do. So in that backlash for the WAP video, I mean, that's they're whores, and she's just a lady who happened to be in the video. That's how it's framed.
Oh, I was about to say, I thought that was your take. I was like, whoa.
No, that's what they're feeding you. That's what they're feeding you. So then, yes, that's my take.
But then I blame them. I blame them for not seeing that. I don't blame them for, Khaled being in it. Yeah, that could have been Beyonce. That could have been Rihanna. That could have been Michelle Obama. That could have been anybody, right?
No, it wouldn't have been Michelle Obama. It wouldn't have been Michelle Obama.
Michelle could have walked down the hallway.
You talking about the walk down? The walk down. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of black ladies are uncomfortable with that. It was Kylie. It was like, so why is she above you? It's not like it's this professional woman who is conservative and da-da-da.
Well, look, but then again, look at it. She got a hip hop baby.
Yeah.
She had black in her. You know what I mean?
Right.
But she probably she had black in her, but she probably had somebody, mom. They're like, nah, you're not doing that. And she don't have a body for it. 1, 2. She ain't got the body for it.
Kylie?
Come on, man, don't do that.
Her body just got done. She got the same stuff done to her body as they did.
It don't fit the same.
I mean,
it don't fit the same.
Now she probably can't move like them. So that her way of moving was walking down the hallway. But I do understand the perspective of, well, it seemed like you got us, but they're big enough stars now. Megan just got to, she's rising. She hasn't got even with Cardi yet. But Cardi is big enough now where she should see that and say, okay, if that's the role you want her to play, then we need to be coming down the other side of the hallway or something too. And she might not have been thinking that far with it.
No, evidently. Or how about this? I go one step farther. I'll be on their side. I'll advocate for them. They could have, and it got edited out. Because again, that's what they do. That's what they do.
So then they would be to blame if they saw the final.
Oh, there you go.
And said, okay, let it fly.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so let me.
They should.
No, go ahead.
Nah, but yeah. I know we circled back to the sidebar.
Yeah. So it's something you said that I'm glad you reminded me of when you pronounced Kamala's name. I don't know. Did you see the Tucker Carlson clip where he mispronounced. It's very disrespectful. So I'm about to play this real quick for the viewers. Very disrespectful. So he said her name wrong. The guest that he had on checks him, and he says, "So what?"
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Here we go. I'm gonna play it.
Listen to how Tucker Carlson, the best he could do
This is
was
from
to
CNN.
somehow mangle her name. Listen.
Okay. So this is Tucker.
Just tell Kamala Harris what to say.
He calls her
and she will
Kamala.
say it. That is the whole point of Kamala Harris.
Says it
Tucker,
twice.
can I just say one quick thing, because this is something that will serve you and your fellow hosts on Fox. Her name is pronounced comma, like the punctuation mark.
So his guest is correcting him.
Okay? I mean, seriously, I've heard every sort of bastardization.
With
That's
respect.
How it is, Kamala. Okay. Well,
But
I think it's out of respect for somebody
Right, here we
who's
go.
going to be on the national ticket. Pronouncing her name right is actually not. It's kind of a.
So
bare
I'm
minimum.
disrespecting her by mispronouncing her name unintentionally. So it begins. You're not allowed to criticize Kamala Harris or Kamala Harris or whatever.
He says it wrong again.
Whatever.
He says, "So what?"
Look, I actually think that's it. You're all laughing.
super
Well, why are you laughing?
insensitive.
How-
So wait a
why-
minute. Let me cut this off. So they had a whole panel or whatever. Angela Rye was on the panel. We don't do Angela Rye on this program. So I had to we had to cut that short. But yeah, so no, we don't do Angela Rye. That's a story for another day. We got to talk about Akon. So yeah, but it's crazy how, Tucker is so disrespectful on purpose. And he tries so hard. He tries so hard. And the dude checked him and he like, so what? And then he went victim. Because this is what they do. He said, so wait a minute, this is going to be the new thing? This is going to, you can't even, he went and screamed fake outrage because the guy checked him on his show, on live. But this is what we about to get and see for the first, it's going to be real messy for the first couple of weeks. Super messy. And it's going to die down and then it's going to get really, really messy 2 weeks out from the election.
Okay, so I disagree. I think it's just rampant. It's going to just continue to ramp up until November.
Okay.
It's going to be a constant ramp up. This is light right now. This is still, it hasn't even had a serious incline. This is real light.
Yeah.
This is 10 degrees north.
10 degrees north.
On its way.
What does that even mean? That sounded real like, what is that? Never heard that phrase.
I just made it up.
Oh, okay. Hey, stick with it. Now I'm about to start using that. Hey man, it's this. Y'all don't even realize what's going on out here, man. It's 10 degrees north. Shit ain't even really hit the fan yet. They be like, oh shit. Yeah. 10 degrees north. That's a t-shirt. Oh, let me write that down. This shit is 10 degrees north. All right. That's dope.
What that mean? I mean, it's about to get really
real.
Wrapping up.
All right.
Yeah.
So we were talking about earlier Akon. And this conversation is right. It's apropos, if you will, because Akon was recently on Vlad. Let me check the date because I don't know where recently is. This was just published. Okay, Vlad TV. Basically, we'll listen to his angle, but it was basically the question was posed: why haven't black people gotten over slavery? And I say this apropos, and Vlad is smart. He dropped it today. Because when Barack got in office, everything was, well, you got a black president. So slavery, so racism doesn't exist. I feel like that conversation is coming back now that Kamala is VP. And, racism doesn't exist and y'all need to get over slavery. None of y'all was never slaves and blah, blah, blah. But Akon as an immigrant or as somebody from somewhere else, even though, one world, one Africa, all of that, his opinion is still going to be vastly different from what they would consider foundational Black Americans. So let's listen to this interview real quick. Put it in the Akon. It's very interesting. Takes a very interesting take on it. All right, here we go.
How do Senegalese really feel about slavery and what happened? Because there were a lot of very foul people involved in the slave trade. There was, of course, Europeans, and, Jews and whites were involved, but, Africans were involved in it as well. They were selling off their enemies, the enemy tribes and making their money and so forth. Like, how was slavery really looked at out there?
Well, in Senegal, we've kind of overcome the thought of slavery. We don't even think about it. Only time we think about it, honestly, is when we're doing tours at Good Island. Outside of that, people have lived and moved and way beyond the slavery concept and idea in my state.
Right, because In Senegal, you actually know your history. You can trace your family back 100 generations, whatever else. You still have your names, your real names. You're not named Johnson or
and Jackson
and Washington and all the other slave owners that were the presidents who had slaves during that time, Jefferson,
you know,
and so forth. Yeah, but you guys actually have your history. And that was the whole thing of walking around Senegal. People just felt, it was the first time I felt black people just felt comfortable and with no type of disease. You know, I mean,
I think it's also the art of just letting the past go and moving towards the future. And I think in the U.S., they have this stigma of just not letting go of the past and blaming the past on every mishap or, you know, disappointment. And I think as long as you hold on to that past, it's just a lot of weight that you carry with you everywhere you go. And it's hard to move forward and move fast when you got to, you know, weight on your back.
All right. So now you watched it, right? So I know you. I'll give you a quick refresher on where I stopped it. I stopped it after he said Americans have a hard time letting go of the past. Now I know that wasn't the end, but there were two key things. So first of all, what side are you on? Do you agree or agree with what he said?
Well, I disagree with Akon and similar to how you set it up as far as he is from Africa, the homeland, the motherland. He's from the mainland. So his perspective, even though he's lived over here for a long time, like he's not like 5-10 years in. He got probably more than 20 years in. You know, that's lowball. Mm-hmm. He's been here for a long time. So he does know what it's like to be African in America, but he doesn't know what it feels like to have the generational racism that's been passed on. His DNA is different from our DNA because what happened, the impressions that were made in our ancestors traveled through the coding of the DNA and the generations that came before us, which now lives in us. His coding is totally different. His parents were born in Africa, grandparents and generations before that. So his coding is totally different. So his perspective is not even relative as far as I'm concerned here. That's just me.
All right. So we've been doing this for many years. We disagree a lot. Now it's not one of those times. He is completely wrong and off base. And I'm going to tell you why. He actually let himself off the hook. Like he gave the reason early. The reason in Senegal, from his perspective, they are the way they are, is because they can trace their history.
Yes.
You know the
Black gave him that. Black gave him that. He didn't even say that.
Well, I mean, he was.
Black,
you're right. He did. You're right. He agreed to that. That's the reason. You know your story. That's mostly the reason. We're still you can
trace it back.
You can trace it, and there was some amount of rectifying resolution, some amount, whereas the people in Senegal are in charge. So you
have been and still are.
Yeah. So culturally, it's still intact. Slavery was a blight, but it's not here. The ruling class are descendants of the oppressors, with a system of built-in oppression that little has changed under. And most of us cannot trace back multi-generations to our points of origin. So you can't, it's like any other trauma. You can't get closure unless you deal with it. And if we've never done with it, it ain't gonna be closure. Of course you can't let go of the past. Mr. Clarkson, our EP, said some wonderful words right here. I don't even have to say much else. He summed it up very succinctly. He says, Akon makes American money because of the civil rights movement. He is here to drink the wine, but he doesn't understand that there were people who died crushing the grapes.
Well, I think he does
heavy.
Understand it. It is heavy, but I think he understands it.
He can't relate to it, like you said. He can't relate to it.
It's not as heavy for him.
Yeah, he can't relate to it. Yeah,
it's not. And then not only did he was able to make the wine, right? He also was able to get the loans for the success that he had in America, the loans that he got from China to build up the city that he's promoted. When he brought all the solar and the technology to the city that will be the Akon city, he got that loan from China. Why did you get that loan? Because of the success that you were able to get in America, and then they know that if they can, who you are in Africa and America, and if they give you a loan, they know not only will you make that money back to them, but then they're also setting up this money for another time. I ain't gonna say no.
Yeah, I was disappointed in that perspective, and I know he's not the only one that feels that way. But I'm gonna tell you, I go back. It's very basic. I go back to basics. It's tit for tat with me. I'm petty that way sometimes. Not about all things, but I'm not. You first. You first. When you forget about that period of 1941 through 45, then I'll let it go. If you can't let it go, don't ask me to let it go. You can't compare Holocaust, but don't ask me to dismiss mine if you won't dismiss yours.
Well, you know, and this is another point too.
And you know what I'm talking about.
And he said last year, well, look, a lot of people got taken care of. A lot of groups.
Oh, yes.
You know, he said
Native Americans, Japanese Americans, Jewish Americans. Yeah.
I didn't even know
Italian Americans. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even know they got it. And then you know, I think Akon said, well, you know, and Jewish people got it, and they didn't go through what they went through here, and they still got it.
You're right. That should tell you something.
That was kind of, I've heard that before. But regardless, I'm not mad at them for getting it. I'm just mad that we not mad that we ain't got it.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at nobody for getting it, because all of them deserved it, but so do we.
Yes.
And I hope our voters, I hope our people don't think, just like I hope they didn't think before, that just because somebody brown that's going to sit in that building don't mean that you're going to get it.
It don't mean that you're automatically going to get it. I said today on Twitter, all these people with these agendas and ADOS, it's not going to work unless we taking meetings in their office every day. They should see a different group of 100 people every day banging down their door, demanding talks at the table. That has to be ongoing every day, because them other peoples did it and they got what they demanded. They ain't ask. They demanded.
But we don't know how to do it.
We don't know how to do it. We're learning. We're gonna learn.
We don't know how to do it.
It's gonna be. It's a quick learning curve.
Reparations come to those who make sure that the powers that be know that there needs to be a repair. If it's not a repair, it's going to be a problem.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Big Zo Talks. He's currently in studio producing WAVP, which is the WAP remix that the vice president is going to jump on.
Don't do that. Don't put me out there like that.
I appreciate the call. Holla. All right, there it is. The Big Zo Talks. Hey, man, it's all fun and games till it ain't no more. All right, let's around this time, we're coming upon that time where we like to leave on a lesson with a word from an elder in a segment I like to call Hi Dad.
Happy everyday, brothers and sisters. This is Alpha Papa with today's reflections. We are improvisers. I made a call to a friend in the DMV this weekend. He and his wife were in a drive-by line of cars for another couple that was celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. Their daughters and granddaughter set up the celebration as a surprise for their parents. They gave out T-shirts to commemorate the occasion. They had cars wrapped around the block with police escort, and Channel 5 News introduced the happy couple. When I got off the phone, I immediately called the happy couple, as they are also longtime friends of my family. They both were extremely happy that I called, and we talked for a long time. My wife and I wish them well, as always. Again, congrats to Milton and Beverly. Our own 50th wedding anniversary comes up in February 2021. Now we have to figure out how to improvise our celebration with our children. 3 of us live in North Carolina. 2 live in Maryland. We got time to come up with a plan. Peace and blessings to all. Alpha Papa signing off.
All right, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is our show for the evening. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's been a real situation. We covered a lot of ground, man. Talk amongst yourselves, and see you back here right at 6 o'clock live. We'll be at 5 o'clock. You can catch a replay of some previous shows, but 6 o'clock Eastern time, Monday through Friday. You catch us live. Tomorrow we got more in store, surprise special guests, and the whole 9. Unfortunately, Roland, we ran out of time again, but hopefully we'll be able to squeeze you in at another time. Everybody else, take care of yourself. Be safe, stay out of trouble, man, and make sure viewer support is appreciated. You can go to Cash App, $ Lamont King 06.
Man, I'm just working, man.
I know what my audience like. I did some independent films with Master P. A lot of those movies did really well.
I'm ambitious. I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.